You know, when you operate in the shadows, every single choice has a cost. So tonight, we're going to break down one single, really tense mission for a team of 4 vampire operatives. We're going to explore how what seems like a simple task forces them to confront the moral lines they're willing to cross when the sun goes down. This one line from one of our operatives just perfectly sums up the dark, practical mindset at the heart of their mission. It immediately gets you thinking, right? It raises the central question for the whole night. Where do you draw the line when you literally have the power to scare people? But before all the action kicks off, the group actually has a rare moment of peace. For a few nights, there are no orders, no emergencies, just the quiet hum of their city. And it's in that quiet that we get to see who they really are when they're left to their own devices. So first up, we have Alex. She spends her time with her messenger birds. They're the tools of her trade. But she also quietly watches her mortal parents from afar. It's this constant, silent reminder of the life she lost, but one she still feels compelled to protect. Then there's Frost, who's a really interesting contrast. On one hand, he's deep into this ancient, kind of dangerous blood sorcery. But what does he use these incredible powers for? Something deeply human, watching over and protecting his mortal grandchild, Frederick. Meanwhile, Eric's out there playing the long game, the political game. He's networking every night, making connections, making sure everybody knows his name. His whole goal is to become a real up-and-comer in the city. You know, a go-to guy for the powerful sheriff. He's building his future in this new society. And finally, we've got Gabriel. His day job, or, well, his night job, as a mortician gives him the perfect, if grim, cover. He spends his quiet nights in the basement of his funeral home, just practicing his supernatural ability to go unseen, to just fade into the shadows among the silent dead. So this brief piece, it's shattered when Frost wakes up and finds a letter on his door. It's a simple, unsigned note, but it's enough to pull the whole group out of their personal lives and set them on a collision course with the city's seedy underbelly. And this is it. This is the whole invitation. No signature, just an address. But Frost, he knows exactly who this is from. The Nosferatu, the city's super secretive information brokers. To him, this isn't just a summons. This is the first real lead he's had in his hunt for a dangerous cult. But Frost isn't just going to ask for help. He's planning to offer a boon, which is a formal, binding political favor, and he's going to offer it on behalf of the sheriff. This is a huge gamble, a promise that could have some serious consequences, especially since, well, he doesn't actually have the authority to make it. Alex immediately says what they're all thinking. Offering a boon like that is a serious political move. And while Frost is ready to roll the dice, you can feel the rest of the group is already on edge, and the mission hasn't even properly started yet. So the address leads them to this old, creepy, abandoned hospital. As they get closer, they can see they're being watched from the darkened windows. Inside, they meet their contact, Parker, who makes one thing crystal clear. Information always has a price. Okay, so here's the deal he puts on the table. It's not about money, it's not about favors, not yet anyway. Parker wants to see how they work. He gives them a task: clear out a group of unhoused men who've taken shelter on the first floor. And he's specific. He says, scare them, not hurt them. And right there, that becomes the moral flashpoint for the whole mission. Gabriel, who's always the pragmatist, just cuts right through it all. He asks, why them? Why ask them to do something so simple? He gets it. This isn't about clearing a room. It's a test. The Nosferatu want to see their methods, their morals, and just how efficient they are. And so the confrontation begins. But this isn't just about scaring a few strangers. Oh no. It's a direct clash of ideologies within the group itself, and it all plays out as they head down to the ground floor. Eric's statement here is just, it's a world away from Gabriel's cold, practical view a moment ago. For Eric, there's a clear moral line. These are just people looking for a safe place to sleep, and using their supernatural fear against them is a cruelty he just refuses to be a part of. The internal conflict is now a full-blown debate. What happens next unfolds in 3 really distinct stages, and each one tells you everything you need to know about their personalities. Eric leads with his humanity, trying diplomacy. When that doesn't work, Gabriel and Frost lean into their monstrous side, resorting to intimidation. And finally, it's Alex, the pragmatist, who just ends it with quick, decisive, physical action. It's a perfect snapshot of their conflicting worldviews. With the task done and the men scattered back into the night, the group heads back to Parker. They've passed his little test. Now it's time to collect their reward, and for each of them to ask a personal question of the city's best-informed residents. The main prize for their morally questionable work is this: a solid lead. Parker tells them the cult Frost has been hunting is rumored to be meeting in an old quarry on the south side of the city. For Frost, this one piece of information made the whole night worth it. But they each got a personal answer too. Eric's compassion is rewarded with some relief. There's no systematic preying on the city's homeless, at least not that's being reported. Alex's feelings of isolation are confirmed. She really is the only one of her kind around here. And Gabriel, well, being the sharp observer he is, he already figured out his answer. The entire night was the proof. In the aftermath, the debate just sparks right back up. Gabriel justifies what they did with this chillingly simple logic. He basically frames it as harmless fun, even entertaining. To him, fear is just another tool. And hey, they used it effectively. But Eric comes back with this really powerful counterpoint. He completely dismisses the whole haunted house comparison and just drives home the reality of what they did. This wasn't a game. They used their incredible power to displace vulnerable people. And for him, that's a moral failure, not a successful mission. And that leaves us with this final big question, doesn't it? The group got what they wanted, they got their information, but they did it by embracing the very thing that separates them from humanity. So, for operatives like these, when does a useful tool, like fear, become a dangerous temptation? The line is thin, and tonight, they walked right on it.